Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm shuffling the Shadowscapes Tarot to bring through a message from the spirit guides and higher selves of this collective. We have the Three of Wands in reverse. Here's what it looks like upright in the Shadowscapes Tarot. What else? Spirit guides. The World. World, Three of Wands in reverse, King of Cups. Getting a real breath of fresh air, current of fresh water energy with that King of Cups there, and with the World as well. The World signifies the ending of one chapter, closing out really completely, flushing away the old really completely, and flushing in the new. Getting an image of circulation within the body, where the circulation is carrying away the old from the cells and flushing in the new really thoroughly. Temperance. We have that circulating within the yin yang symbol here. We have this adorable little dragon here, and this larger dragon serpent emerging from or being pulled back into that yin-yang globe. Very interesting. And of course the wings of balance on the temperance figure and on the bird perched on this little dragon's back, and the little scales on this dragon figure as well. Temperance. Show me more, Spirit. Seven of Cups. I just heard indecision. Not a surprising thing to hear with the Seven of Cups. Indecision, and I just heard pie in the sky as well. But what I'm getting from your spirit guides is that there's something you're writing off as pie in the sky that actually isn't. And I'm being drawn to the way the World figure and the Temperance figure are focused down and in on this globe, potentially ignoring, for example, in the World card, ignoring the full moon behind, or in the Temperance, potentially ignoring their own power, being so focused on looking down. I'm hearing look up. There's this fear from this group of looking up at all, for fear of becoming like the Seven of Cups figure and only focusing on castles in the sky and not actually, quote unquote, being able to put roots under them and build a foundation under them. And what your spirit guides are saying loud and clear is that you're actually more than capable of that. Very loud and clear. Two of Cups reversed. And what I was just hearing about you actually being more than capable of bridging the dream to the reality does explain why that central Three of Wands card did come out in reverse, because the Three of Wands signifies setting out on a new journey. You've planned, you've packed, you've prepared, and now you're stepping foot out the gate. And so for it to come out in reverse reflects a little bit of a blockage, hesitation, or maybe a refusal to leave the comfort zone, to really set out on this journey that you're actually longing to, because of those fears that we were talking about. I can also reflect an inward journey being needed, which I think is called for. An inward journey, I'm not getting anything, this doesn't feel like a super long inward journey is what I'm trying to say, to get to and identify and release or work through these fears, these beliefs, these patterns, these old feelings or traumas that are causing this assumption that your dreams are pipe dreams and can't become reality. Two of Swords in reverse. That's really interesting for the Two of Swords and the Two of Cups to both be in reverse here. Okay, the Two of Swords in reverse is giving me a very clear message that there's sort of a willful blindness or a willful ignorance going on here, where there's an I don't know how to make my dreams reality feeling, but it's really being caused by the refusal to actually start taking action. If you start actually putting one foot in front of the other, do a little bit of research here, put yourself out there here, get some advice or ask some questions word of mouth wise there. The path will unfold before you. You don't need to know how the whole staircase is going to unfold. You don't need to know the how of every step of the path. You just need to know the next step and actually take it, instead of refusing to step outside the comfort zone or outside the gate, or refusing to look up. This is very much reflecting that refusal to look up. And this is not coming through as accusatory as refusal to look up might sound. This is not your spirit guides insulting you. It's just them saying, like, hey, look up. You forgot that you could look up. You forgot that you can actually take a step forward without even being committed to the whole path, even though looking at what you're committed to more than this dream that you may say you would love to be wholeheartedly committed to is very much part of the inward journey that you're being called to do, to embark on, so that you understand yourself, and so that you can go, wait a second, is anything really stopping me from committing myself wholeheartedly to this thing I say I want to? Is it really just my own fears? And if so, how can I work with them in a tangible way so that I can say, okay, I can take this concern into account as I move forward, instead of simply assuming that concern has to prevent me from moving forward. I hope that makes sense. Queen of Wands. Yeah, this is boundless passion and determination. And this is you really not letting those fears and concerns get in the way of developing your passion and determination into mastery. And with the King of Cups, we have that flow of emotion and love. Same with the Two of Cups as well, really. This sense of there being something that you really love that does not need to be blocked. And you discovering what is blocking it and what it takes to unblock it, and doing it. That's the kind of the bridge between the King of Cups and the dreaminess of the Seven of Cups, and the Queen of Wands, the grounded balance of the Temperance, the action of the Three of Wands. This is a really heart-centered calling for you. And that's actually why it is so realistic, because it is what your heart is calling you to do with your life or in your life. I apologize for the water damage on the Strength card in this deck. Potentially I should replace it, but I'm so attached to this deck because it was the first tarot deck I ever got, so it's many years old now, and that's how this has come to pass. But this is the Strength card. Yes, similar to the Queen of Wands, there's this untamed energy coming through with the Strength card. Untamed and fierce, yet very gentle with yourself. Really gently probing, what am I so scared of? And what am I actually unconsciously committed to more than the dreams that I say I'm committed to or want to be committed to? And then how can I channel that energy, funnel that energy more consciously, more intentionally? Where does it naturally flow when I unblock that dam that has been keeping it back? This perfect marriage of the Queen of Wands, King of Cups there with that flow. And the way that wildness and fierceness in you wants to flow. Okay, let's see what else we have here. King of Swords. This is very similar to that thinking man statue pose, the Rodin statue. But there's wisdom and intelligence in the King of Swords. You're being called very clearly and very strongly here to transition from thinking to doing, however. And also to become the master of your thoughts, to really make unconscious thoughts conscious. The unconscious thoughts that tell you you can't, actually engage with them instead of allowing them to rule you. Become the ruler of your thoughts and actions. And we have all of the elements here with the thought, the emotion, the action, in terms of swords, cups, wands in these court cards, the kings and queens. There's also this skull here in the King of Swords, and there's this element of your spirit guides telling you you're assuming the stream is already dead when you've never even actually given it a chance to be born. You've never even given it a chance to take flight with all the wing imagery here. And it's time to do that. It's time to actually nurture the stream and allow it to be born into the world. And again, not to get too far ahead of yourself, thinking about and trying to see the whole staircase. You're not meant to. You're meant to allow the universe to deliver each next step to you. As you take one step, the next step becomes clear. As you take that next step, the fog around the third step lifts. And so on and so forth. It's time to simply set out, to simply dip your toes in the water and discover, and you might discover, especially with this King of Cups here, that the water is not as hostile a place as you feared. It's not that you won't face challenges, and it's not that you won't be asked to kind of unglue from certain things that you might be scared to unglue from, so that you can commit more wholeheartedly to this new endeavor. But if you take it one step at a time, you allow the reasons why each step is worth it to also be unveiled to you as you take them. And you open space for solutions you might not have dreamed up on your own to be revealed to you. You seek that advice from trusted mentors, or you ask the universe a question and you're open to signs that point you in the direction of the answer. Six of Wands. Yeah, this is victory, triumph, and reward awards even. This figure appears very solo, but the Six of Wands does imply recognition by others of your achievements, and in this card we get it from the laurel wreath, like in the Olympics, that this character is bearing. And the way they're standing proudly atop a dais where they can be seen, rather than hiding away. I just heard tall poppy syndrome, so this figure is standing tall, even though it might make them a target, knowing that they have allies on their side and they have the tools within themselves, the fire within themselves, and the skill that they've developed to be able to handle any oncomer skillfully, whether it is, a lot of times it's not really fighting back, a lot of times it's dodging, or simply allowing them to blather on, knowing it's really not about you and you don't actually owe anyone a response and wouldn't actually get anything from engaging with that. Actually, there's a message there. I knew there was more to come from the King of Swords. There are some thoughts where engaging with them is simply hearing them out and going, okay. Okay. I'm not going to base my actions or my plans on those thoughts. I'm just gonna kind of dump them out, go, I see you, and I'm gonna engage with either the real parts of me, the real emotions, fears, concerns that are behind those thoughts that might feel like they're attacking myself, or I'm going to simply recognize that those thoughts are coming from an inflamed space and choose to feed a different wolf. And with practice, you will get really good at both of those tools, both of those skills of engaging with what needs to be engaged with and simply not feeding what needs to be dropped and allowed to be released and allowed to move on. And that's very much the Temperance in conjunction with the King of Swords there, mastering the thoughts and mastering the flow and the balance and the not reacting to every thought, not believing everything you think, remembering that thoughts and feelings are not always facts. They are indicators, and they are a huge part of how you create in the world. Six of Pentacles in reverse. I think I might need some clarification on that. Ooh, okay. In this particular Six of Pentacles description, we have this fountain of coins and water, potentially air. So when it's coming out in reverse, in this particular case, it's actually very much like it's raining down on the figures in the card for them to take in. And that's the energy that I'm actually getting with this, especially in conjunction with the Six of Wands. It's you receiving your flowers, receiving your due, receiving just payment, fair payment for your services. Letting any thoughts that give you imposter syndrome fall to the wayside. Any thoughts that tell you, is my service really worth as much as so-and-so charges for a similar service? Am I as good as they are? Letting those thoughts fall to the wayside, and both requesting and accepting the payment that you are due. And that can be metaphorical as well as literal. King of Wands. Now we have yet another king on the board, but this one came out in reverse. What's up with that, Spirit? This goes very much hand in hand with the Strength card, but it's much more... I'm hearing fighting fire with fire. Tell me what's up with that, Spirit, please. There is this call, there's this specific sort of caution or warning for this group not to fight fire with fire in the case of either verbally with others, sinking to the level of their attacks, insults, passive-aggressive remarks, their commentary or unfounded critique. That learning to just drop it and just not dignify certain things with response. And on an internal level, not fighting fire with fire, again, recognizing which thoughts are coming from a simply inflamed space and simply withdrawing your consciousness and your energy from them, imagining those thoughts sort of crumbling like dust when you retract the energy that gives them form and gives them life, and pouring that energy into nourishing yourself. You can visualize as a meditation, pulling that energy from those thoughts and giving them fire and life and energy and form, and bringing those thoughts like a cool, nourishing water or salve, like the King of Cups, back into your body. And then from that place of it really healing your body and your mind, pouring that energy back into different thoughts, different words, different actions that you actually choose. Again, choosing the wolf that you feed. The Star, but in reverse. The 17th major arcana. We have 17 and we have 8 from the Strength card, so definitely 88 energy for those of you for whom that angel number is significant. That's also telling me, I'm also getting a very specific message there that the Lionsgate portal coming up on August 8th is very significant for this group as part of the journey that you're embarking on. There's a significant landmark to look forward to in this new endeavor, or this new chapter of your endeavor coming up on the Lionsgate, especially with the Star being part of that. That's reflecting there is like this astrological synchronicity in the stars, in the cosmos, and also that you have the backing of the universe behind you in moving in the direction of your dreams. This is, to a certain extent, fated. You get to choose and determine your own fate, but this is, yeah, if you've been questioning if this is part of the things that you came here to do on Earth, if this is part of your life mission, life purpose, and part of your fate, it is. It may not be the entire thing. It doesn't have to be the main dish for it to be an important part of the courses. And this is also reflecting that your North Star is within, with this having come out in reverse. Reversed cards sometimes indicate turning an energy inward, as well as indicating something being potentially out of alignment, that's another meaning reversed cards can have. And this is reflecting your North Star is within, with these things that we've been talking about, with not believing every thought or every word that's directed at you. Believe instead, trust instead in that North Star within you, especially with these two coming out on either side of the Temperance card. That's where I was guided to place them. Instead of fighting fire with fire and really believing in those thoughts and words and attacks being worth a response, believe instead in the worthiness and the truth of your instincts, your North Star, your Polaris, your heart, again with the Two of Cups, and the heart image in the Two of Swords, and the King of Cups as well, that emotional energy. And there's so much hearty energy and the strength energy and that Leo energy with the Lion's Gate. Lion heart is something I just heard. And also that song, You're a King and I'm a Lion Heart. I think Of Monsters and Men is the band there. So believing in and following that North Star within you is the guidance there. I keep on hearing one more card, but I've heard that for the last 3 cards. Okay, the Five of Cups is just echoing that energy of like looking down and looking within and not noticing what a big wide world and big wide sea is actually out there. Don't try to sip the universe through a straw. Don't get caught up in thinking your dream can only look or manifest one way. Let the universe reveal all the ways it can to you by opening your mind and your heart to seeing different possibilities than you have before. Ask and you shall be answered. Knock on the door will be open to you. Just start asking and start looking for answers. Five of Wands, yeah. So this is again that sort of dual energy. We have the 5-5, that signifying transformation. And again, the leaving behind conflict and moving through disappointment and into fulfillment. Into the King of Cups, Queen of Wands. This is really signifying the transition from the World card that's happening. Choose your battles. You don't have to show up to every battle you're invited to. Ace of Swords reversed. This is your new beginning, your new ideas, your new thoughts, your new inspiration. You're just getting over a hump on the way into that new beginning. And Three of Pentacles reversed. So you're leaving behind oppositional forces to find real collaboration, and you're creating a collaborative environment within your own mind. That's what you're being kind of faced with or tasked with on your inner journey right now, is becoming your own ally and collaborator rather than an oppositional force. When you feel those unconscious thoughts and feelings, actually bringing them up to the surface so that you can work through them and transmute them into allies instead of trying to ignore them or work against them or in spite of them. And again, that consciousness will give you discernment about when a thought really can just be dropped instead of needing to be engaged with. Eight of Swords, so this is also leaving behind any sense of being trapped within your own thoughts, trapped in your mind, helpless, leaving behind helplessness and powerlessness, and recognizing your empowerment, claiming your power to transform your life and make it the journey that you actually want to make, instead of feeling like you have to just keep trudging ahead on a journey that was determined for you by someone else. All these court cards. We have the Queen of Swords reversed. So this is reflecting that you're, by bringing consciousness to those thoughts, reclaiming your ability to bring stillness and focus to your mind, and to self-determine your thoughts. The Queen of Swords has very true aim and discernment, and by instead of relegating things to the unconscious, actually being willing to look at them, you're going to create space to, again, either simply drop and release and clear out, sweep out the broom closet of your mind, or engage with things and choose what to fertilize, choose what to weed, and create that clarity and focus and ability to be still and quiet in your mind instead of it always feeling loud and noisy. Reclaiming your power here, reclaiming your focus and your ability to aim and create, to make sort of decisions from that space of single-pointed clarity. And King of Pentacles, really from that space you'll be able to ground and build that bridge between your castle in the sky, from the Seven of Cups, and the earth beneath you. And that explains why that felt like the final card for real after I kept on hearing one more card over and over again. This also represents, in my opinion, powerful divine energy behind what you're doing, powerful divine support. So do several other cards here. You have so many major arcana and court cards here. You have powerful allies in spirit, in your spirit guides, and in the divine. You have a divine mission, and that is why you have this collaboration from spirit, from your spirit guides, from deities, from powerful energies in nature and in the cosmos. And with the turning the Three of Pentacles energy upright from its upside down space, part of that, and again with all the insight and clarity and trusting your North Star and uncovering your discernment from any blockages, you're also opening up to collaboration from the divine instead of sort of turning away from it, thinking that you're unworthy or thinking that there's a block there when there doesn't really have to be, or from clutter and clouds and fog in the thoughts that might just be kind of clogging up your metaphorical ears and preventing you from hearing that guidance and that support, that love from the universe. Again, with the Six of Pentacles, you unblocking your receiving receptor channels so that you can receive guidance and love and fuel and support from the universe, from the people around you, and from spirit, the divine beings that would like to collaborate with you to enrich your mission and to make it as impactful as possible, as healing for the world as possible, and as healing and heart-centered and loving for you as possible, rather than it being some sort of sacrifice for you. Yes, things that mean this much to anyone do require certain sacrifices in terms of, you actually committing your whole energy or your whole self to these things rather than potentially frittering it away on other things. But that's very different than you sacrificing yourself to make a sacrifice that you really feel is worth it. It doesn't actually feel like a sacrifice at all. And this is kind of transforming your life from feeling like you have to give your life away, sacrifice your energy just to stay afloat, and doing things that you don't really like or don't feel you really chose, into a life that you're choosing. So the commitments also feel like choices and also feel completely worthwhile and not like these awful sacrifices. Ace of Pentacles. Yes, this is your new beginning that is going to bring in so much. I'm just really getting abundance and richness on all levels. So the golden coin representing source energy and connection to self-worth and to source, and also representing that seeding this idea is going to allow you to reap a harvest later on down the road, where you do get to experience the material payoff for that. And more than anything, the abundance of that sense of, I'm choosing my life, I'm choosing my thoughts, I have discernment and empowerment and real power and agency in my life. And that's really worth more than gold. That's priceless. That's worth everything. And that is the abundance of freedom. Free will being combined with love is what really makes for a fulfilling life. And we have the Knight of Pentacles on the back, so that represents you being on your mission here, and you being able to move through this mission, leveling up and leveling up and leveling up, from the Ace to the 10 to the Page to the Knight to the King. You really having all the power and tools that you need to build that bridge from the pie in the sky to the roots on the earth, and ultimately reap your fulfilling harvest emotionally, in your heart and in your passions, in your sense of agency and control over your life, your thoughts, and peace in your mind. peace in your connection to the divine, and peace in your mental world, your mental realm, peace in your mental kingdom, instead of it being a kingdom of warring factions. All of you being all of you being aligned with a specific direction that you want to take and pour your energy into. And so you feeling that peace within yourself, and again receiving your dues and receiving that harvest in the long run. But even before that, feeling the ultimate priceless payoff of that sense of peace and clarity. Not the same clarity as we sometimes expect, where it's like, oh, I can see the whole staircase before me, but peace and clarity in this next step and this next step, and peace and clarity, and I feel a sense of understanding and harmony within me as all of these parts of me have a yes, a resounding yes to the things that I am doing and the choices that I am making and where I'm directing my energy. And that resounding yes is my wish for you and what the cards have for you. So thank you for being here. The divine beings in the cosmos and in earthly nature are really calling for you to collaborate with them on this mission. So I also wish for you to open your heart and your ears and mind to hearing that call and receiving their support and their guidance on your way. And if you do feel aligned with a personal reading, please check out my website, and I'll see you there.